Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and seeing a headline that says a major bank is about to collapse. Thousands of panic and rush to withdraw their money. Hours later, the story is proven completely false. But by then, the damage has already been done. Now imagine that same thing happened with health information, natural disasters, or elections. In today's world, misinformation can spread around the globe before the truth even has a chance to catch up. Most of us like to believe we can tell the difference between fact and fiction, but research shows that it's becoming harder than ever. Over the past week, I researched information from Stanford University, the American Psychological Association, and the Pew Research Center. What I found honestly surprised me. My thesis is this: everyone should develop better habits for verifying information before believing or sharing it because misinformation spreads rapidly. Traditional gatekeepers are no longer enough to protect us, and our own biases have become false information. Our own biases make false information easier to believe. Let's begin at looking at how quickly information spreads today. First, information now spreads faster than ever before, which means we need to slow down before sharing it. Years ago, if someone wanted to spread false information, it usually had to go through newspapers, television stations, or radio broadcasts. Today, anyone with a phone and an internet connection can post something that reaches millions of people within minutes. According to the American Psychological Association, misinformation often spreads because people are naturally drawn to content that creates strong emotions like fear, anger, or surprise. Those emotions make us more likely to click, comment, and share before we even stop to think. Think about the last shocking headline you saw online. Did you immediately check if it was true? Probably not. Or did you assume someone already else had? I would guess that one. I know I've caught myself almost sharing something before realizing I hadn't even read the full article. I'm sure many of us have done the same thing. The problem isn't that people are trying to spread lies. Many people believe that they're sharing something helpful. Unfortunately, good intentions don't stop misinformation from spreading. That's why slowing down for even 30 seconds to verify a story can make a huge difference. Now that we've seen how quickly misinformation spreads, let's talk about why it's become so much easier to spread in the first place. Traditional gatekeepers, like I spoke about before, of information have lost much of their influence, so we have to become our own fact checkers. For decades, newspapers and professional journalists acted as gatekeepers. Before a story reached the public, editors verified facts and sources. Today, those barriers are much lower than anyone can create Today, those barriers are much lower. Anyone can create professional-looking websites, edit videos, or post information that appears completely legitimate, even if it isn't. That doesn't mean every independent creator is unreliable. Many do excellent work. The challenge is that credibility isn't always obvious anymore. Stanford researchers found that many students struggle to judge whether online information is credible. Even people who have grown up using the internet have difficulty separating trustworthy sources from misleading ones. That should concern all of us because if college students, people who use technology every day, have trouble identifying credible information, then anyone can be fooled. One simple habit we can build is checking who wrote the information. Ask yourself, are they qualified? Do other reliable organizations report the same thing? Can I find evidence that supports the claim? Those questions only take a minute, but they can prevent us from believing or spreading false information. We've talked about how information spreads and why it's harder to recognize. Finally, let's look at one of the biggest reasons misinformation continues to succeed. People naturally seek information that supports what they already believe. So we should intentionally look at multiple trustworthy sources. This is something psychologists call confirmation bias. Confirmation bias happens when we naturally pay more attention to information that agrees with our existing opinions, while ignoring information that challenges them. The American Psychological Association explains that people are much more likely to accept information that reinforces beliefs they already hold. In other words, misinformation works because it tells us what we already want to hear. According to Pew Research Center, people around the world increasingly view false information and misleading information online is a major problem. Many people are worried about how difficult it has become to know which source deserves their trust. When we only need we when we only read information from one perspective, it's easy to become trapped inside an echo chamber where every article, video, or post reinforces the same viewpoint. It doesn't make us bad people, it simply makes us human. But if we genuinely care about finding the truth, we have to challenge ourselves to look at more than one source, especially when the topic is a controversial one. Reading multiple credible sources doesn't weaken our opinions, it strengthens them, because they're based on evidence instead of assumptions. In conclusion, misinformation has become one of the biggest challenges of the information age. Today, we've seen that information spreads faster than ever before. Traditional gatekeepers can no longer filter everything we see, and the confirmation bias makes information or misinformation easier to believe. The good news is that we aren't powerless. Each of us can make a difference by slowing down before sharing information, checking reliable sources, and being willing to question our own assumptions. The next time you see a headline that makes you angry, excited, or afraid, don't immediately hit the share button. Pause. Take 30 seconds. Check another source. Ask who wrote it. Look for evidence. If more people made those simple choices every day, we could all help make the internet a more trustworthy place. Thank you.